Hello everyone, I am Shubham Garg and in this series we are going to learn C++. Okay, in the C++ programming we are going to see various famous programs and various concepts. So today we are going to see how to make a Fibonacci series. Alright, so let me just create a new file. By the way, the code editor and compiler which we are using is the code blocks. Okay, and today we are going to make the Fibonacci program. Okay, so Fibonacci series basically is a series which comes in this way, like 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and so on. So basically what is happening is there are first two numbers, that is 0 and 1, and we are taking the sum of these two numbers, that is 0, 1, the sum is 1. Again, for the next thing we take the sum of second and third number, then that is 1 and 1, we get 2. Then we take the sum of third and fourth number, that is 2 and 1, and we get 3. Similarly, 3 plus 2, that is 5, 5 plus 3, that is 8, 8 plus 5 next will be 13 and so on. Okay, so this is the Fibonacci series. Okay, and basically this kind of pattern is found in nature. Okay, so we are going to see how to make this Fibonacci series, and we will be making the Fibonacci series using two methods. First one is in the normal way, that is using the for loop, and the second one is using the recursion. Okay, so I will tell in brief what is recursion, and we will see how to make Fibonacci series with or without recursion. All right. So I have created the new file. First of all, what you need to do is you need to save the file. Okay, let's save as fib.c++. Okay, so now we have saved our file. So let us start making the Fibonacci series. First of all, without recursion. Okay. So it is Fibonacci series without recursion. All right. So now first thing is the header file, that is include iostream. All right, I must mention that in this video or in this series I am not going from the very basics. So it will be preferable for those who have a basic understanding of C++ and are looking for practicing more towards C++. So it will be beneficial to those who have at least basic ideas, that is about the structures, about the syntax. Okay, that is how the C++ window works, what are the header files and the commands which we are using. Okay, so if you are a very beginner, that is don't have any experience in C++ knowledge, in C++ coding or C coding, then I guess this video is not for you. So those having a basic knowledge can watch this video. So let us continue making our Fibonacci series. Okay, so now let us declare our main function, that is int main. Now if you remember the Fibonacci series, let me just write it here only, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13 and so on. Okay, so if you remember, you see there are two numbers, that is 0 and 1. So first we need to define these two numbers, that is these two should be present beforehand, that is 0 and 1 should be present. Okay, and after that all these numbers will be calculated using the sum of the previous two numbers, because this one here is calculated from this 0 plus 1. Similarly, this 2 will be calculated from these two. Okay, so that's why we need to predefine first and second number. Okay, so first of all I am going to take integer, let's say integer, and I declare num1 which is equal to 0. Okay, that is the first number. Similarly, we will define num2 and that will be equal to 1. Next, we will define some variables, that is number 3, that is the third number. Okay, and we will be basically updating the value of that number. Okay, and there basically it is to store the result for num1 and num2. okay, and we will be updating the value of num1 and num2, so thus num3 will be getting updated. Okay, let's declare one more variable, that is number, or let's just declare it as an n. All right, so these are the integers which we have declared. Now first of all, this n is for the number of numbers which we want in our series, that is we want from the user. For example, if user says I want the series for 10 numbers, then the series should be displaying 10 numbers, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then after 13 and 8 21, and then 13 and 21, that is 34. All right, so that is the number of input, that is the input number from the user. So first we will take the input from the user, that is cout, and we will write enter the number of elements in the series, that is the number of elements which user wants in the series. All right, and now here we will write cin, that is for n. All right, so these are the number of elements. Now we will print the first and second element. All right, that is cout num1. Okay, I will give a blank space here, and then cout num2. All right, so that's why this is basically printing the num1 and num2, because we have 0 and 1 predefined, and that should be there in the series. All right, so these are our num1 and num2. Now next thing, we need to use a for loop. You can use for loop or while loop, it depends upon you. Okay, so I am going to use for loop here, and it will be for integer I. Now just pay attention here that for int I will start it from 2. Why 2? Because we have already declared num1 and num2, that is 0 and 1, these are already declared. All right, so I am going to start the loop for 2, from 2. Okay, so for int I is equal to 2, and it should be less than n. All right, and then we are going to increment it. So here we have incremented this I. All right, so now we are going to update the values for num3, num1 and num2. All right, so as I have told you that num3 will store the result. So num3 will be num1 plus num2. Okay, that is, this is our result for the third number, that is 0 and 1 are first and second number. So 1 will be the num3. So now we will print this num3. Okay, because we have already printed num1 and num2. So now we will print num3, and I will add the space after num3 as well. Now, since we have printed num3, we need to update the values of num1 and num2 so that our loop can run, and new num3, that will be the fourth result, can be formed. All right, so how we are going to do that is we are going to use num1, we are going to tell num1 will be equal to num2. Okay, and num2 will become num3. All right, so now what will happen is the loop will run. Okay, and it is going to add, first of all it adds the num1 and num2, then it gets incremented. Okay, so for the next value, when the loop will run again, it will increment the value and gives us the sum for next elements. All right, and it is going to run till the time I is less than n. Okay, that is according to the number of elements which is given by the user. So this is our logic here, and now we will enter return 0. So this is our program of Fibonacci series. This is without recursion. Okay, let's just save the program and run it. First, let's see there are no errors. Okay, it seems it's compiled perfectly. Okay, there is an error. Okay. Oh, okay, here is the error. Yeah, so now it should work perfectly. Let's compile it again. See, there are no errors. Okay, so let's just run the program. Sometimes it takes time to run the program. Okay, so here is enter the number of elements in the series. So let's say I enter 10 elements. All right. So you can see here I got the series for 10 elements, that is which we have defined here in comment, that we should get this result, and we are getting this result as 0, 1, 1, 2 up to 34. All right. So now we can run it again. Okay, so the number of elements, let's say this time I write 13. So these are the 13 elements, and we get Fibonacci series till 13 elements. Okay, so this was the Fibonacci series without recursion, and now we will develop a program to use Fibonacci series with recursion. Okay, so basically what recursion is, in recursion we declare a function and we use that function to call it again and again to do our task. For example, here we are using this same logic by a for loop. All right, that is num3 will add num1 and num2 and will store the result, and then num1 and num2 are getting updated to the next values. So here we are doing this using for loop, but in recursion we will declare a function. Okay, and using that function we are going to make this Fibonacci series. Okay, that is we will call that function again and again. So we won't have to use for loop or while loop using recursion. Okay, it basically in recursion it saves times. Okay, and thus where there is a time limit exceed, error, or time complexity constraints are there, we can use recursion, and it is better to use recursion in those cases. So let us delete this program and let's start using recursion. Okay, so now this will be with recursion. Okay, so header files are there, and now first of all we will declare a function. So I am going to declare void. Let's say I will declare a function named fib, that is for Fibonacci series. Okay, and here I am going to pass an argument, that is integer, and this integer will be n. All right, so now here what I will declare the initial numbers. Okay, 0 and 1, that is we declared in the previous program, that was Fibonacci series without recursion. Okay, so here I am going to write int, let's say n1, this will be 0, or we can just use num1 like before, and num2 which is again equal to 0, num2 will be 1, and then next num3. Okay, num3 is for result. So now here num3 will be num1 plus num2. All right, and the same conditions as in previous, that num1 will be updating by getting the value of num2, and num2 will be updated to the value of num3. Okay, so now this was the same logic in the previous program. However, we used a for loop to implement this logic, but here we have to use this logic in this function, and we are going to call this function again and again. All right, so now first of all let's print the value of num3. Okay, and here we will call this function again and again, that is Fibonacci, and I am going to pass the argument, that is n minus 1. So that's why it is going to run again and again. All right. So this is the use of recursion here. Now coming to the main function, okay, that is int n. This is for the number of inputs from the user. So that is cout. Okay, and here enter the number of elements. Now we will see in this n. Okay, and now we will see out the values, that is 0 and 1. All right. So this is 0 and this is 1. We are going to print these values. All right. So now we have print these values, and here we are going to again call the numbers, again call the function, that is this fib. All right. And we will be calling this, and this time we will pass it here n minus 2 instead of n minus 1. Okay, because here what happened, that once it the program run, then it is going to run for n minus 1, and from, because there are two numbers, that is 0 and 1, that should be there. After that the program should start from n minus 2. Okay, the same way we started the for loop from 2. Okay, that's how the program is going to start from n minus 2. So now let us save this program. All right, so I have saved the program. Let's compile it to see if there are any errors. Okay, yeah, extra semicolon is there. Let's just compile it again. Okay, no errors. And so let us run the program. Okay, so here I enter the number of elements. Let's say I enter 12. Oops. Okay, it is running infinite number of times. There is some error, I guess. All right. So let's see what we have missed. We have declared the integers, everything. Okay, yeah, we forgot one condition, that is our n should be greater than 0. All right, then only this thing should be executed. Okay, so basically if we apply n greater than 0, what happens, that initially the first number is 0, and that's why there is, the condition becomes n equal to 0, and thus when this condition runs from n equal to 0, it is not able to go after 1. So that's why that only keeps on running. So let us just put the braces, curly brackets. Okay, that is the condition if n is greater than 0, and let's close this condition. Let us save this and let's run it again. So let's see number of elements, 12. Okay, it is not giving the correct answer. Let us see, everything seems fine. Okay, so basically the error was defining the integer. Okay, we have to define the integers as static. So basically what is static is the static variable remains in the memory. When the program is running, when we run the program, it is there in the memory. However, a normal integer does not remain in the memory. Alright, so that's why when you see the integer was not static, what was happening, it was going from 0 1 and then 1 1 1 1 again. Okay, same case happened when if condition was missing. All right, so now when we make this integer static, these num1 and num0 values and these updated values remained in the memory, and that's why our program was running like this. Okay, let's so here the basic values, that is 0 and 1, and the updated values are there in the memory. That's why our program is running fine now. So this is how you make Fibonacci series with recursion and without recursion. So this is all for this video. See you guys in the next video.